What's up today, guys? Trying to do a little different video here. It's July 5th and this video won't air probably till October or November. Probably wondering what we're doing. Well, today it's going to be more of a vlog style video. Gonna replace these tires. These tires are probably close to 20 years old now. They're pretty heavily weather checked. You can actually, this back one is yeah, it's very heavily weather checked. This is my first car, a 78 Nova. It's definitely seen better days. I went ahead and bought some more black paint. I got these rims were free to me when I got the car. I think my grandpa's, well, it'd be my uncle, my great uncle gave these wheels to me for this car. I also got an intake with it. I never put the intake on, an aluminum intake, but yeah, I got the wheels for it. So now rattle can them black again. I'm going to hit them with a wire wheel first. I got some new lug nuts for it to kind of replace these old ones. This car, again, it's been my first car. I've owned this car since, I think we got it in 2004 maybe. Well, shoot, let me think about that. It had been 2004, 2005 era we got this car. So I've had this car for a long time. It's 2024 now, over 20 years. It's the first set of tires I ever got for it, and they are pretty rough. Tires I'm going to put it on are Hancock Optimos, but they aren't much better. They're ones off the Chevy 2. I'm going to put the ones that kind of are showing cords. If you've ever dealt with Chevy 2s, you know that it's hard to keep an alignment on it, and the caster kind of walks a little, or not the caster, sorry, the camber walks a little. The little oblong things under the car are wore, and I need to replace it, so I go through a set of front tires about every year on it, because the caster keeps walking. I have the parts to replace it, I just got to do it at this point. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put some newer tires on it in case I have to use this car. I hope I don't. But the better of the two tires will go onto the front. The rear will get the messed up caster ones because it, in theory, should set straight and still sit on the tread. Anyways, we're going to get started. I may end up just playing music in the background. I don't know. We'll see. But I got quite a bit to do today, so I need to get started here right now. So let's get started. Now I'm going to head and throw one jack stand under here, just in case it does fall. It won't fall. I'll be able to get a jack back under it. I'm going to head and do both rears at the same time just to knock it out. I probably haven't had these wheels off in years. Probably at least 10 years I've been driving the Chevy 2. These tires have lasted me quite a while, a lot of miles. Let's go to the other side. Alright, let's go dismount. So I figured I'd give a little context while the video plays out here. I bought the car. It was a father-son project. We got the car in, I think it was 2004, maybe 2005. I could be wrong about owning this for 20 years. Nonetheless, I've owned it for a very long time. We actually got the car from an older lady who lived the next bigger town over. It was posted in the newspaper, believe it or not. It was during the newspaper times, before internet. I am young enough, or I am old enough to remember looking through the newspapers for jobs and vehicles. Not that at the time I was looking for jobs, but I knew I could look through there. The Nova was a inline 6 250 car, had AC, had a heavy duty radiator, and the lady actually said that several people had looked at it, but they had passed on it because it wasn't a V8 car. My dad was fine with that. He could do engine swaps. He's done them before. The lady did say it overheated on her one time because she used it to pull around a camper with, oddly enough, using a Nova to pull around a camper. So it has heavier duty rear leaf springs on it and a bumper hitch and even trailer brake setup in it. She said at one point in time it had overheated, so it got so they put those gauges in it, which you'd see in the later part of this video. I had some SunPro gauges down there, you know, just your mechanical water temp and then oil pressure and a non-working voltmeter or an amp meter. I don't know what's in the middle. So Dad bought the car, and then he started looking for a motor for it. Originally he was gonna get a 350, but ended up settling on a 305 later on. We were driving it shortly after we got it, maybe a couple months. We went to, it doesn't matter where we were going, but we were coming home. About 4 miles from home, all of a sudden you hear that distinctive sound of a belt smacking the fan, and you heard the fan kind of kiss the radiator. Okay, we get a look at it. Well, the harmonic balancer had come off. Okay, well, if you aren't familiar with Chevy 6-cylinders, the Chevy 6-cylinders don't bolt the harmonic balancer on. There are kits to drill and tap the crankshaft, but on 6-cylinders from the factory, I think early V8s are the same way. It's just pressed on. After getting it home and inspecting it, come to realize the reason it originally overheated was the harmonic balancer came off. Whatever shop she took it to decided, since the keyway was screwed up a little bit on the crank, they just welded the harmonic balancer to the crank. So I believe Dad did a lot of file work, and I can't remember if he welded on it or not. I don't know if he would remember. But it got sorted, and then it was decided it's V8 time. So I wasn't driving I was student learner at the time. So I drove it a little bit, not a lot. And then next summer it got a V8. It was a 305. I think Dad, I don't know. Dad said it was out of a van. It's 9.5 to 1 compression, nothing crazy. Had a 327 cam in it. A lot of the work was done locally, machine work. Put together in a shed. That was the first engine swap I did. And the area we were living in just had older couples. Most of the people around us growing up were already retired. We broke that motor in the back, in the side yard. Of course, I don't even know if it had headers on it at the time or if it was just open headers, but it was pretty loud. The neighbors came by to see what the ruckus was. They're all pretty excited, you know, because it was nice growing up there because we were the only kids around. But yeah, so got the 350 or 305 in it. Drove that 305 for years, 9 years, I think. I daily drove that car. It was my college car. Didn't get very good gas mileage. But shortly after graduating college, my first year outside of college, I was daily driving it. I just bought the Chevy 2, about 6 months before. So I was working on the Chevy 2 as a project car, the 66, and then driving the 78. And as I crossed railroad tracks in the town we bought the car, because I was working there at the time, it all of a sudden just dropped a cylinder. And so I tried all sorts of stuff. One of the guys there tried helping me diagnose it, but I don't know, I was pretty stressed out at the time, trying to figure this out while I was at work, thinking, how am I going to get this home? I drove it over to a buddy's house, and then just had my grandpa help me tow it home that day. Broke a rocker arm stud. I was doing 30 miles an hour, just crossing the railroad tracks. Just, I decided to let go. And I got lucky. The buddy I towed it over to, he had a spare 350 out of a, I don't know what it's out of. I know it's a big truck. It has a big old cast iron extended pulley on the crank. But that well-seasoned 350, that's well used, it has way more power than that 305. I'll just tell you that. It's kind of nice. And you'll be able to hear that here later in this video. Anyways, I figured I'd just give a little context instead of just playing a whole bunch of music for this video, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Got the car flipped around. Let's work on the fronts, because to be honest, they do. Let me. I guess I can't put the camera. Because to be honest, even though I scuffed the paint up putting these on, they do look a lot better. I wish I could find some stainless steel insert trim. I might have some around here. I think that would make it really pop. It would take away from the blemishes that I got on the wheel now. So let's head back up the front. This wheel is absolutely stuck on there. The other side came off pretty easy. Around here, as you can see, I got it off. Got the wheel here. Just scored some PV Blaster on it, and it kind of rocked off. The other side is seized. So it's better that this happens now, as opposed to me being on the side of the road with a flat tire. So let's go. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna finish this side, then I'll work on that side. It may become a different weekend project and just letting it soak with some PV Blaster. But as you can see, the dry rot is pretty bad on these tires. So anything is better than what I have. So don't follow my advice on this, but I'll tell you how I got this loosened up here. I've been fighting it for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. Ran out of PB blaster, had to go to the liquid wrench, been trying to shoot it in here. I could see the spot where it was penetrating through down here because it was stuck on the hub, the wheel to the hub there. I got my pry bars out. I went and got out the mini sledge. I had my brass punch. I was in here tapping away, trying to, you know, just vibrate it. Had the long skinny punch in here, trying to tap along the edge, hoping it would bounce it. I put the impact on to number 1, went to the first rat, backed it up down the driveway a little bit, came back forward. Once I got on the concrete about this general area, I just hit the brakes, hoping that this would grab traction and just... And guess what? It did. At least I'm pretty sure it did. So I got that loose. Like I said, I don't know if I said it in the video or not, but I'm glad I found this out now before I had this tire blow out. And then I'd be on the side of the road trying to fight this to get the flat tire off to get it going down the road. There we go. So I'm gonna go finish this last tire so we can finish this project for today and start on our next one. Hopefully you can see how wet this is and how wet the cement is over here. But I have been working on it quite a bit. the old grill runs pretty good. Definitely lights them up. This 350 sure does a lot, but looks a lot better.